Hi, everyone. Hex will be on in just a second. We are having a very traumatic morning.
There was a
I,
reckoning coming for everyone.
there's something going on. I literally was like in Twitter, and now my got banned, and then both Hex's accounts just got nuked. So I'm sure he's appealing and stuff, and then he'll probably pop in here. But anyway, so this is my guest, Kyle. How do you exactly say your last name?
Matovcik.
Matovcik. What is that? Is that what kind of name is that?
As far as I know, I'm Polish, Czech, Italian. It's definitely not Italian. I just got my mom's ass for being a partially Dago.
Nice. My whole family got that too. We're all like part
Mhm.
Italian. Even my nieces. I'm like, stop growing, girls. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so and then I don't know. Want to introduce yourself a little more too?
Sure. Well, I was kind of thinking about this today, but I realized I'm kind of the libertarian guy that pisses absolutely everybody off. Um, and also kind of the health guy. So I eat lots of cholesterol, lots of fat, lots of sugar as well, and I still stay pretty jacked. I can lift pretty heavy things. I host a podcast called In Liberty and Health where I discuss all things surrounding libertarianism and health and fitness and wellness. And yeah, I like to post controversial takes by kind of looking through data and being objective about things rather than just emotional and purely biased, like a lot of people like to approach subjects. So, I'm not about the dogma, and I enjoy seeing people get angry with me. So life is good.
I like your attitude. Oh, here's Hex. Oh boy, here we go. What's
There he
Hex?
is.
Can you hear
What
us?
up? Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good. So they just took both your accounts just now.
Yeah, one of them, my original account from 2014, they said for ban evasion, even though both were in
They,
good standing. I don't know what the other one, the main one, was for though.
Mhm.
do you think that guy reported everybody yesterday?
I don't
Maybe.
know.
Because I blocked him, but then like I still talk some shit too. But
I should have just blocked them if that's the case.
uh, I
Yeah,
don't
you
know. Let's.
guys are.
I did block them, then I unblocked them because it's rare that I
I got
block
more to
people.
say. I got more to fucking say, motherfucker.
Yeah, I have a lot of patience for people if they're going to engage in good faith, but whenever it comes to people who just clearly aren't going to engage in good faith, you get the block pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm a quick block. I block for like no reason whatsoever anymore. I don't care. Uh, Kyle and Hat, I know you guys know each other from Twitter, obviously. You're
Mhm.
both musicians.
Yeah, well, I forgot that part in my little introduction here.
Oh yeah. Well, you can kind of tell. You can kind of look behind you.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I only have like 15 here in the guitar
Hey.
room. Yeah, there we go. I would have to pick up the camera. You can see over there. Some
Got a
right there.
couple toys.
And then, oh yeah, I
Uh,
also found out I piss off conservative Twitter because I am a pro Pitbull guy. We just
What's
baby.
up with that lately? Like everyone's
I
going
don't know.
against.
Yeah, so I saw that with that Elijah Schaefer, which I'm a libertarian, so I would never advocate violence. But if I could slap somebody, he would probably be one of the people that I'd slap. Um, he kept saying like, "Stop buying pit bulls," and pit bulls are the ones that are killing everything. And so I kind of dug into this a little bit, and I found out that while pit bulls do kind of host the most amount of like bites, right? Like they are statistically the most violent dogs if you just kind of look at it in regards of like killing other animals, I think it is. They're actually not the most likely to bite randomly. So people just, I don't know, they got a hate on for it. And my
I
fiance made me
thought
a
we were
dog.
over that. I thought we were over all the pitbull hate like 10 years
Right.
ago, where it was like, you know what? It's yeah, obviously there's gonna be shitty dog owners, but there's also like most people have pit bulls are like white bitches in the suburbs right now, anyways. And like, or I've had my best dog was a pit mix, and I've been
Yes.
bit by an Australian Shepherd and a
Mhm.
golden retriever.
Oh, the golden retriever is one of the ones that they always brought up that never bite people.
Oh, I got bit. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad, but the motherfucker was not happy with me, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
but again, it was the owner. Sorry, go
Of
on.
course, of course. No, you're good. My pit bull, and we had her sister over because my fiance's parents were out on a camping trip and they couldn't take a pit bull with them, so we babysat her sister over the weekend. And it was thundering earlier this morning, and you guys might have seen the picture, but this chair is not very big, right? They both were sitting behind me on the chair because it was thundering. The one, I dropped my plastic cup, one of my shaker cups, and she bolted out of the fucking kitchen. So I mean, these dogs are just complete and total sissies. They're the sweetest things in the world. And yeah, there are some that bite people, but it's like the amount of dog attacks that actually happen are so or just so small. But people want to focus on this one breed and say this is the problem. But I think it's more the owners than the pit themselves.
I made this comparison a while ago, but it was like the way that the conservatives were looking at pit bulls is the way that like liberals look at thugs with guns. You know, the conservatives look at the like thuggish pit bull people and think that's how they all are, just like how liberals look at thuggish gun people and think that's how gun people are. You know, it's like.
I was kind of putting together the same thing, and I think you're absolutely right. You're going to extrapolate something. It kind of goes to a bigger political topic that I think about a lot. The left really pushes racism and all these other woke kind of issues as kind of a thing to get to a bigger picture, right? You got to vote for us so we can eliminate sexism, racism, and all these other issues. But is there some truth to it? Yes. But is it nearly as big as they make it out to be? No. The political right now, their big thing is immigration in China, right? Where China is going to crush the entire world. They're going to buy up all the infrastructure. And, it's even to the point where we say Beijing Biden, even though he's the most hawkish on China president that we've ever had. Is there a grain of truth to it? Sure. But they use that as a real push to expand their agenda and what they want to expand upon. And it actually, for Republicans, also goes for voter fraud, where Trump raised $250 million for voter fraud and only spent like $40 million of it actually on investigations. So was there voter fraud? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Nobody has made a really convincing case. But, if you raise $250 million, but you only spend $40 million investigating it, clearly you don't really care about that issue as much as you would purport to people.
Right. Did they get back to you at all, Hex? I got one email back and it was like, respond to this email, but I haven't gotten anything else.
I got to open my other email address to figure out the other one, and I don't feel like doing that right now.
No, we're all like, I was just like, God damn, man. Well, at least we're here.
Did you guys get any strikes on here on YouTube?
I've only had like a couple. I've had no real strikes, just a few of the copyright thing, but it doesn't didn't take it down or anything. So not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I got nuked off of. Well, I shouldn't say get nuked off YouTube, but I've had probably 3 or 4 videos that I got strikes for. 2 of them got appealed, 1 didn't get appealed, and then I got a strike for 1 literally this past week. It was up for like 6 months. But they said I went against COVID misinformation, and they never gave me a specific claim of what was misinformation. I had a back and forth with some dude off YouTube, but yeah, it ultimately became just I got suspended for a week. So.
Weird. Kathy in the chat was about the thread yesterday because if we'll see who else gets new. Is it just you and me so far, Hex?
So far, that's all I know. But I just uninstalled Twitter from my phone. So
you're like, fuck it, fuck you, motherfuckers.
What? Okay, so what was going on yesterday?
Jesus, hold on.
We were gonna talk about this anyway.
I have to tell this story.
No, go ahead. I'm curious.
It started. I don't remember how I saw this tweet, but this tweet from some journalist named Rachel Gilmore. She was going on about how someone said something mean to her on Twitter, and she wrote a little mini thread about it. And then the last tweet in the thread said, if you're a white male journalist who can tweet about football and soccer and all that all day, you can find time to tweet about women and minority journalists being harassed online or something stupid like that. And then she followed that up with because we can't unplug from this. And I focused on that specific line because I thought, oh, yeah, you can. It's called the log out button, genius. So I took a screenshot of the log out button on Twitter, which, by the way, for some reason, they made it kind of convoluted to find. I'm just throwing that out there. So I took a screenshot of that and replied to the final tweet in that thread with it. And then this Jesus Christ, this Jeffrey dude comes in and says, it's on men to not be so terrible, which I didn't entirely disagree with because there are some shitty men in the world, but there are also shitty women in the world. And the main reason just overall, people should just not be terrible to each other. Let's just be real. or whatever. So I said, I said, you're not wrong, but that doesn't mean I got to go out of my way and fight this shit. And then he keeps going on this spiel about how, oh, if you don't pledge yourself to this woke cause and white knight women on Twitter, then you're part of the problem. And then at one point I told him to just suck my dick, which I didn't actually want him to do it, but
Obviously.
it's just another way of saying fuck off, basically. But
Yeah.
that went over this dude's head, and then he reported me for it. And I got thrown in Twitmo for 12 hours, which I'm like, okay, whatever. I got another account I can just bullshit on. I go on my other account. He finds that one, starts fucking with me there. It's just, we're just going back and forth. And I get my main account back. And he replied to someone. So he tagged someone else who saw the initial argument between us, tagged them, wrote this like 9-tweet thread, and then tagged me at the end of it. And I'm like, this dude is horribly sad. That's all I gotta say.
It was weird, and he was like he tried to sexually harass me for saying like blow me or whatever. I'm like, okay, anybody who's ever been bullied or normally talked to by boys in their life, they say like suck my dick or blow me, and this dude was like, he was trying to sexually harass me, and he wrote this whole like thread about it. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Oh, and then he was creepy too, and he was like, I'm going to stay here and make sure you learn your lesson. Basically, that's like what he was saying.
There was a couple of times he demanded that I apologize to him. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not apologizing for shit. Fuck off.
In his bio, it says, I make racists mad or something like that.
I make racists, misogynists, and Christian nationalists angry.
Like the 2% of the population that it's not even 2%. That's wow. So the dude literally like flagged you down to say that you sexually harassed him?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Holy
just kept going on and on about it. I was like, dude. What's going on?
It's like, who the fuck do you hang out with that doesn't say suck my dick? Like, I know a lot of girls that say it.
I say it, for Christ's sake. Although I actually have one, according to Twitter. Some weirdos on Twitter. So.
Oh, yeah. You got the manly build.
Yeah, the knees or faces in my knees or whatever that guy was saying. It was some like weirdo QAnon dude too, and I was like, that's what I try to tell people. Like, yeah, the left is fucking crazy about gender shit too, but like there's a lot of weird fucking people about that kind of stuff. So I'm like, there you go, because I was called a man all my life growing up, just by whoever being bullied. So I'm like, that shit just has always happened, and now obviously it's important the teachers are fucking doing this shit, but. Anyways, I was going to say, going back to health and Kyle, and I like that you have that attitude, how you have about it, because you, not to be like, you were a fatty, but you lost weight and you become a healthier person, and you aren't like, so many people do that. And then they're like, no, you can't do this, that, they're like, so like, I wouldn't say self-hate, but they just like tell other people what to do all the time. And you're like, not really, like, eat butter, boys. Like, butter.
Yeah, well, so I actually just recorded a podcast earlier today about things I changed my mind on. And one of the things that I was real big on was the carnivore diet, because I did it for 2.5 years, and that's what helped me lose the 70 pounds that I lost. But it worked for me until it didn't. And I realized, okay, well, if you just eat meat throughout the week, then I'm good. And then all of a sudden the weekend would come, my fiance and I go out to eat. And then all of a sudden I just binge on 3 pieces of cheesecake, and then I'd be motherfucking because I didn't lose any weight for the week. So what I eventually kind of came to the conclusion of, okay, well, if I can kind of sprinkle this shit in throughout the week in smaller amounts rather than just a binge over the weekend, then I can ultimately make more progress that way. So I've just found that fad diets and giving people hardline rules, especially when it comes to nutrition, tends to create a black and white area where it's as soon as you trip over that one little bump in the road, then it's, well, fuck it. I already fucked up, so we might as well just go full bore, fuck it mode, which it doesn't have to be that way. You're one meal off and you can be one meal back on. So for me, I just make protein ice cream. I share the shit I make all the time, and I don't have hardline rules around nutrition. And when I go on vacation, I enjoy. I'll gain a couple pounds. It's fine, because guess what? I know how to diet to lose it, and I'm still going to go to the gym when I get back. I'm still going to walk my dogs in the morning. I'm still going to do all the healthy behaviors that I've incorporated into my lifestyle, so that way I can maintain my weight loss.
And you don't have that the guy we had, I don't know if you said we had on last week, Alex something. He's
Yeah,
a
I know.
major hard body, but like same shit. Like, you can't be stressed. Like the way people stress about what they eat, that adds to it. You're like, that
Oh,
makes
absolutely.
makes it worse, you know? So can't
Mhm.
do that. Let me say hey to everyone in the chat real quick. Hey Havoc, hey Hayden, hey
Yeah, real
Kathy.
quick. Shout out to my boy Havoc.
Oh,
He's
you
got a
guys are
single.
releasing a song, right?
Yeah, he's got a single coming out September 9th, and I played a guitar solo on it. So
Oh,
look
no
out.
shit.
Heck yeah. That's
Nice.
so
I'll have to
exciting.
check that out. That's awesome.
We'll share it on our Twitter accounts. Yeah.
Oh wait. oh wait. We both just got new. Is your cop?
Oh, that's so weird that it's right. It's so weird that it was right after each other too. That's weird.
Yeah, well, thank God Hex was able to get me over the link. I was a little concerned. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to be able to get in.
I'd just be like asking everyone to ask Alice. I'd be like, hey, I was like going down the line of after Hex got nuked, but we got it figured out, everybody. We got it figured
Yeah, I
out.
mean, there was like a little sweet spot of time where Hex was able to get the message over to me, and then we were able to get on here.
My God, I wonder what it is. I haven't gotten another email, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just have to be fucking more productive if this is like it.
Yeah, I know, right? I just fucking actually be productive now.
Maybe I
Yeah,
should.
I had a.
It's probably a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, no, that's kind of the way that I'm starting to see Twitter, because I didn't use Twitter until I started the podcast almost a year ago now, and I'm like, holy fuck, this thing is such a fucking time suck.
It's so
really
fun
is.
now. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, no, I do
That's
enjoy.
the thing, though. I met a lot of great people, including you two, of course, on
Oh,
Twitter.
thank you.
And that's what made
Yeah.
it fun and addicting.
Mhm.
And it just got swiped away from both of us. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy my time on Twitter, and I try to be positive and uplifting. But it's pretty rare that I'll get in a shitty mood and then I'll kind of go hard on people. But that's very, very, very rare.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I try to be happy and fun on there too, but
Mhm.
whatever. I guess maybe I'll actually like practice music. I'll sit down and practice music now if I don't have my Twitter to distract me all the time.
Yeah, I realized my practice time with guitar has greatly gone down since I started using Twitter, and I kind of kicked myself in the ass for that.
It's like way. I mean, you guys are like real musicians, so you get a different like hit out of like music. But like, whereas me, it's like it's always just been so hard all my life. I give up because it doesn't hit my dopamine fast enough. Where I'm like, it doesn't get. So maybe, and Twitter does. It does. I'm like, they're right. I get it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Whenever you get to ratio somebody or you see a tweet getting a whole bunch of likes, you're like, oh man, the pants get a little bit shorter. You get a little bit more excited.
oh yeah.
I was gonna see when I always try to screenshot my follower account. Let's see
I
what
was
the
at
last.
2,711, and that just got taken from me.
Oh, for maybe we'll get it back. Maybe we'll get it back.
Yeah. Now, did Hex? Did they get? You said your old account was ban evasion, and then your other one was for what?
I don't know yet. I have to. That's attached to a different email address that I have to log into.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that really sucks. I see they're starting to really clip a lot of people for ban evasion. So
I'm surprised they hadn't gotten me for that yet.
The crazy part about me is my old account. Like I literally just tweeted about this earlier. Was banned a year ago today because I called someone a bitch ass nigga. Which I mean, whatever. And I got it back. So does ban evasion even count at that point?
Yeah, the only thing that I ever got thrown in Twitmo for was somebody was saying like guys is not gender neutral language. So I said, guys, it's time to fire up the gas chambers. And yeah. Yeah, that one got me a 12-hour ban. So yeah.
Oh, Colonel. Yeah, I don't. Colonel, I just texted you back. We're not sure. It might have been from a thing yesterday, and I literally had just made a post where I was like, I put groomers in it, and I was like, it won't count. I'm not calling someone a groomer. This won't get. So I don't know if that's what it was, but it was like we're at the point where if like you say, people are like, yeah, we're groomers and pedophiles, but you're a Nazi because that's literally how people are nowadays. I feel like, and I don't know if that's what got me hit, but whatever.
Yeah, pretty much everything's either okay groomer or you're a Nazi, which is I get so tired of the partisan politics stuff, and I'm friends with a lot of those kind of people, but like it gets so fucking tired so fast.
Well, and like because and you've brought this up before, too, when we talk about being likable. Like I don't know, like likable people just don't like say that shit so much or something.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I work as an automotive technician for my career, right? All the people I work with, every single fucking one is a die-in-the-wool Trump supporter. I have zero issues with that, right? And I've told them before, I think Trump is absolutely terrible. I completely disagree with a lot of the policies, but they have this emotional attachment to him because they're blue-collar guys and he represents the working man, right? Even though I disagree with that, but that's kind of what they see and that's kind of what he projects. I get along with all these people perfectly fine. I'll go out and have a beer with them. The bass player in my band absolutely loves Trump, and him and I, have been playing a band together for 3 or 4 years. My dad's a huge Trump supporter. We talk about political stuff. There's no issues. Don't be a fucking prick about it. There's some libertarians that are just like religious about being libertarian, and they can't leave that at the door when it comes to some certain stuff. Like, not everything has to be political. Not everything. If your whole personality is based around your political identity, which a lot of MAGA people really are that way, then I just don't find you a compelling or interesting person. And to go back to your point, I think it just makes a lot of people very unlikable when your entire identity is around your political ideology.
Yeah. And then they want to like tell other people how to live and put their culture on other people. I'm like, no, you need to live a life that people are drawn to or attracted to and they like. That you can't force that on anyone, like, it's such a simple thing, but whatever. It's like I was talking to someone else. It's like, yeah, half these people are like trying to force a culture on people and they're like unhealthy, unlikable, just like it's like just chill, dude. Just be cool. And that's what else we were gonna talk about too. Is that people just hate Trump so much. Like I don't like Trump either, but like you said, that Sam Harris is like, well, it's Trump and Trump's bad. And everything there's nothing on he said there's nothing on Hunter's laptop that's as bad as what Trump did or something like that.
Yeah.
Didn't he say something? I was like, what?
Yeah, he could have had dead babies in his closet or something, dead children.
Yeah, in the
closet.
basement.
Yeah.
Like, why was that your first thought, dude? What?
Yeah. But then right after that, you literally say it wouldn't have mattered to him. And then he continues and says that there's more corruption about Trump. It's like, okay, this is what pisses me off so much about the political left today is that you have this mountain of shit that you could just slam Trump for by your own values and even by right-wing values, right? And they just completely avoid that. They ignore all that. They'll say, oh, he's a racist. Oh, he's a misogynist. Oh, he's homophobic. He's this, he's that. Well, why are you ignoring all the legitimate criticisms that are things that actually hurt people for the stuff that's like this much of what's actually fucking wrong with him? Like, is he a sexist? I don't know. He has a daughter. He said, grab him by the pussy. Who cares? I don't care. So what about the war stuff? What about him being a gun grabber? What about the spending? What about him?
The emergency order, the COVID emergency order. He put it in that we're still under.
I don't remember when he I don't remember when it was. He decided to bomb some Middle Eastern country.
Syria.
Yeah. And the corporate press, they changed it too. They said, oh, he's so presidential now.
Right. And it's once again, if he's supposed to be this anti-war president, which he wasn't, because actually under him, there was the most drone strikes ever carried out by any presidency. You could hit him for that. Good.
Right.
He continued Obama's war on Yemen. Exactly.
And had actually vetoed ending it due to weapons sales. That's literally all it was for. And then people bring up the Middle East. What the fuck was the deal? It's escaping me now.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What does he deal with the Taliban?
Yeah, it was the peace across the Middle East, right? Peace across the Middle East, where you sell out Palestinians and allow Israel to pretty much do whatever they want and then fund Israel to the tune of whatever. Regardless, he wasn't an anti-war candidate, no matter how much people wanted to believe that. And then to bring up another point, let's say the trade war, right? Well, our trade deficit had only grown under Trump, and now it's, it hit record highs under him, and then it continued to hit record highs under Biden as well, because we don't have a strong economy here in the U.S. But yeah, I agree. They say he pissed the right people off. It's like, okay, but just because people are angry doesn't mean you're doing anything right. Like, yeah, I like seeing people squirm, and yes, he's funny. He is absolutely hilarious.
The troll. Like, everyone loves a good troll. Like, everyone just loves a good troll. What was it called? The Abrahamic Accord?
The Abraham Accord. That's it. Yeah. You could say all that, but like, okay, well, you need to separate the wheat from chaff here and admit when things aren't going in the right direction. And when people say Trump was the best president we've had in my lifetime, right? That guy said that right there. And you can say, oh, the economy was so good. This is just because we were in the recovery, right? You had the 2008 recession. And if you look at all the graphs and all the trends, you're going to see that this was strictly him taking credit for the recovery because we were getting further and further away from a recession. So obviously, as you get further and further away from a recession, things get better. Now, after 2020, you can't put any more heroin back into the junkie because we've completely tapped the Federal Reserve, and that's why we're starting to see inflation. That's why the economy isn't recovering. You could have did that in 2008. A lot of people thought that was the big bust point. But if you look back to late 2019, you could even see that the economy was heading towards recession. So no matter what, even if it wasn't COVID, COVID was just the pin that pricked the bubble.
No. Didn't you hear from Robert Reich? The only reason there's inflation is because of corporations raising prices on people. That's the cause of inflation, y'all.
They just decide to get greedy in the last 2 years. Like, wait, we've been missing out on all these fucking on all this money here. We can just
How is that not misinformation? That's literal misinformation. Like, I know they don't want people to understand the Federal Reserve or know what happened, but it's like it is fact and it's there. The Federal Reserve exists, but they're like, no, we can't talk about that.
Right. Well, once again, it goes back to just kind of missing the forest for the trees. You see this one issue here, and then you're going to completely miss the clear explanation where the debt doubled from, I think it was Clinton to Bush, and then it doubled from Bush to Obama, and then it doubled from Obama to Trump, and then Trump added, almost $10 trillion to the deficit. And then the spending levels are like triple what they were 2021 as to what they were in 2019.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but it's like I understand that. Like, you print money and it's not worth anything anymore. Like, that.
Right, and it's funny because a lot of these people
explained it perfectly.
What's that?
That old cartoon DuckTales. There's like they basically go into basically inflation where they get this they find this little gun that can clone things. So the kids they just started cloning these coins to get in for their allowance or whatever. And then next thing you know, everything's super expensive because money's everywhere.
I'll have to look for that episode.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube actually.
Okay. Have to look for it. This is totally random, but do you remember the show Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers? Did you guys watch that? There's an episode once where they went, it was a good show. It was Chip and Dale. And there was this literal cola cult. And all these animals were throwing themselves into pop in a soda. And it's so I wonder if the people who wrote it was about the sugar, people getting kids addicted to sugar and how you shouldn't, these guys were like, no, we're not jumping in the cola cult. That's another random episode where it's like, holy shit, they were actually giving out good messaging back in the day. But now they're like, what's your gender?
The one thing that I use to kind of make people aware of how many calories they're consuming when it comes to sugar-laden beverages or things with high fructose corn syrup, if you take 1 can of pop, right? So this is a bottle of water, right? But in a bottle like this, there's probably about 220 calories of Coke, right? So let's say it's Coke, 220 calories. You could eat 1.5 pounds of strawberries for the same amount of calories that are in there. So imagine how easy it is for you to just drink a Coke versus eating 1 pound of strawberries. It's going to take you a lot longer and you'll be a lot more full after eating 1 pound of strawberries versus where if you just drink a Coke. So, and look, I drink Diet Pop all the time. I used to think that Diet Pop was so bad for you because it gives you cancer, but more and more research has come out that basically just says that it's pretty much 0 calories, 0 harm for the most part. So if you drink aspartame, sucralose, a lot of the even research around gut stuff, they're just relatively harmless. But if you're worried about it, then you could just get flavored stuff. They have Zevia, which is sweetened with stevia rather than sucralose or aspartame. But personally, I drink the shit all the time and 0 issues. And a lot of the research bears that out as well.
It's probably when you're wrenching on engines and stuff, it's probably nice to just grab a pop once in a while. So Douglas, I got suspended in Hex. Hex had 2 accounts. Both of his accounts are gone.
Right after yours.
I know. That's what's weird. Maybe they know we're best
the anniversary that my old one got new.
Yeah, that's actually
weird. I wonder if it was that dude. They haven't emailed me back. I'm like, I have no idea. They didn't give me any. They're just but for the last 3 months, almost once or twice a week, I would have this weird glitch where it would try to lock me out and tell me to verify my email address, but it would never let me do it. It would just never send the thing, and so I was like, maybe they've been trying to get me for a while. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe they'll give. I should appeal and try to get Forest Mommy account back too while I'm appealing stuff. That's the one that they should give me back, because that's like not even a big deal.
So you originally got nuked on your first Twitter for posting a picture, so we'll say.
Yeah, in the profile picture, that's what happened.
Oh, and they don't allow it to be in the profile picture, because I was gonna say you could see porn anywhere and everywhere on Twitter.
And I'm like, I half understand, because it would literally be there'd be so many dicks in profile pictures, because that's how dudes are. So I'm like, I kind of get why they try to cut back on that, but then I'm like, it wasn't even erotic or anything, you know, like. Everyone just wants to talk about that. We're all Twitter addicts, man. Everyone's like, you're booted. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna return.
You're not even gonna like check.
So what?
You're not even gonna like try like appeal with the email or anything. Not yet, at least. Maybe we take a break. Yeah. I get it. Taco Bear. I don't know if we knew who Taco Bear was. He's like, there's a lot of people who were like, where they said you could delete a tweet or whatever, the Babylon Bee and all that. Like, and they're like, fuck you. No, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, and he was on Joe Rogan recently, that guy. And he was even like, you know, sorry, my light keeps going off. He was like, why don't they delete it? Let them delete it. If it's so terrible, why don't they just delete it? Like on some of the other platforms, you know? And he's like, I'm not deleting it. Joe Rogan's like, why not just delete it? And it's like, because some people have principles, Joe Rogan. Okay, like.
Yeah, it's like they get a weird satisfaction out of you bending the knee to Twitter, which it's so fucking bizarre. And clearly a lot of the shit's so minute, and you could tell, like Reed, I listened to his live stream, Reed Coverdale, and he got nuked for saying, if you come within 100 feet of my truck, I'll shoot you.
Yeah, and he was fucking around with friends. I remember that.
It wasn't even a real person.
Oh yeah, they were like charity accounts because it was him and Clint. They did that like face swap thing.
Reed Russell and Clint Coverdale.
Yeah, two people took that and they made two different accounts, and they were just fucking around, bullshitting around. He got banned for that.
Oh yeah, and then he came back just recently, but they got him again, didn't they?
Did they get him again?
Reed,
he was there. There is a account up there that may or may not be Reed. If you look at my follows, it'll have something to do with, I think it's 1967. That should give enough hints away. But he was there for like a couple days and then got nuked.
Then they nuked Dennis like the 12th time.
Well, Dennis is always getting nuked.
Yeah, I don't know. That shit's kind of impressive.
And then they keep nuking the same people. Remember, like, what was it? Month and a half, 2 months ago, they just nuked like 100 people.
Yeah, all the goon people.
They keep coming back and keep getting nuked. They're still doing that. And then I guess we just got added finally.
I wonder if that's a thing. What was I going to say about Dennis? I hope if Dennis comes back, I think I have his phone number. He should parody Hex next. So he should come back as you. It is silly. It's clever. That's the kind of trolling that's like, I love that. It's hilarious. Yeah. Not just being mean or tearing people down or like whatever, you know, it's just nice.
Yeah. I had a guy when we were talking about pits earlier. I shared a picture. I said I just doubled my chance of death because I had both my pit bulls laying next to me. And he just put stay strapped with a heart. And I'm like, dude, fucking right here. Like, fuck you, man.
People are ridiculous. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, also it's just an internet thing to find something to like, you know, pile on. But I saw the Pitbull stuff like a couple months ago, and I was like, and it was a lot of like libertarian people, and I was like, really? And then I love Braxton McCoy, but he was saying, I'm like, I've been bit by actual like ranch dogs because they have the job to do. They're not like snuggly dogs usually. Like that's what I've been bit by. It's not like pit bulls ever. So it always makes me laugh. I'm like, come on, guys. Or fucking, I know the little dogs can't do as much damage, but the little, there's a lot of babies' faces that get bit from chihuahuas and little dogs all the time. So
yeah, everybody said there was like a big Doberman thing back in the 90s, and I can't remember all the other dogs, but I kind of look at it and I got a Doberman, Australian Shepherd, and a pit bull. So I'm like, come on, I got the scariest dogs out there, and you know what? Axton laying right here if one of you two tried to come up and pet him, he would hide behind me. He's sweet as the day is long, but he's so like scared to meet new people. But once he knows you, he really likes people.
And you still have the little Doberman, right? Or the little Min Pin, right?
My mini pin, yeah, that's posh. Let me see.
Because it's kind of old. It's kind of older,
Yeah.
right? But you brought him back to health a little bit.
Yeah, so she was my uncle and aunt were gonna have her put down, but she we just couldn't let that happen because I've known her for so long and there's nothing wrong with her. But yeah, she's doing really, really well. She didn't like this past weekend having 2 pit bulls and running around the house, so she just kind of hit off and tried to sleep the best of her ability.
That's my little dog too. Whenever a big dog's over, he's just like, oh my god, like. But he's really. My sister just got a dog, and he's like, he's probably about 35 pounds. Their dog, and he's a puppy though, so he wants to play, but he's so good because in Tanner, like he'll kind of like. And Tanner's like, and he was like, he's not mean. He just gives that like warning, like no. And then that little puppy, like, he's like, okay, I get it. I'm like, oh, see, they communicate and tell each other. I love it. Like, it's so cute. And then my dog will act all puppy like the rest of the day. I'm like, they feed off each other. It's good.
Yeah, when you brought up the pits mall in the kid space, it's actually really funny. My pit, if she sees like younger kids, she gets so excited. It is the cutest thing in the absolute world. One of my fiance's friends had her daughter over. I think she's like 2 years old, and we had to like take my pit bull away just because she was so excited to see her. Like all she wanted to do was just give her kisses. It was really, really
They're
cute.
Sweetie. They really are sweeties. Like I understand. Like and like there's been so many more people pure breeding them too, and breeding good ones. Or like. They're not. There's no fighting in their lineage and stuff. So it's like, come on, people. Then any mutt, especially like they're just good dogs. Especially they got pit in it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm getting like 80,000 tweets or texts from people. Family, I love it. I don't even know what I did though. Everyone's like, "What'd you do?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought Twitter would have sent you guys an email like immediately after you got banned and told you, "Hey, this is what you did."
Yeah, they did.
One.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, like I still haven't looked at the other one, but they did send me one for one of them.
Mine was just like, if I look at my Twitter screen, it just says this account's been suspended. Learn more, and then I just appealed it through that, and they did send an email and said, respond to make us know, let us know you can get into this email, blah blah. But we'll see. I mean, if they want to get rid of me, then it's their loss. Let's be honest, and text too, obviously.
Oh, my timeline will definitely be a little bit darker without you. It's upsetting.
Let's see what else is going on. Oh, is anyone in Colorado watching? Robbie's porch tour is this Saturday, so get tickets and come. And I'm laughing because it's like at the family property. Of course, that night my parents like, "Oh, I think we're coming home that night." I'm like, "Okay, great time.
Party on, Dad! Come on!"
I know. I texted. I'm like, we might have to change some stuff up, but like, because Robbie does a smoke out, bug out, where everyone just gets super high. So he was like, we can adjust that. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. They may not even be home by then either, so it might all work out. But I was like, good Lord, of course.
Yeah. That kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier when it comes to being likable is going to events like that. I try to share as many pictures and stuff about when my band plays like bigger festivals and just because that shit's fun. Like getting outside of political events and even going to like strictly political events are still a lot of fun. But I've been a music fan since I was like a kid, right? I mean, I grew up on Pantera, Metallica, and all sorts of like the early 2000s metalcore stuff. That is like my life. So I've always loved going to concerts. I would joke with people, I've probably seen more bands than most people have even heard of throughout my life. And, as we can see, I very much so enjoy playing music. We were going to do we were going to open for Tommy Vexed actually at Jurgles in Warrendale, but he had throat surgery, so that's been postponed.
Yeah, I try to share whenever you post your playing because I know there's you never know who's watching. How far is Ohio and Pennsylvania? How far are you guys? Yeah, you guys should like meet up and do some music sometime too.
Yeah, Hex, if you can, where do you live in Ohio? Because I lived in Cleveland. You live in Cleveland? Okay, yeah, I lived in Cleveland for a year and a half. I lived in Fairview Park in 2014, 15. Yeah, and then I went to school at Ohio Tech, which is right in Cleveland, East 51st and Superior, I think it is.
Okay.
Nice. I just feel like everything over there is just so much closer together anyways. Like out here, everything's like just so far. You go to the East Coast and it's like I lived in Virginia Beach for a minute and then like you just drive up like in Philly, DC, you know, it's like we're all right there. Feels like it's all so close.
Yeah, that's probably that all is probably like a few hours away from me. But yeah, we're going. My fiance and I are going to Ocean City here for Labor Day weekend. I'm pretty fucking excited.
Is that New Jersey? Or what is that?
Oh, we're
What's your
going to
first-
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. Nice.
Mhm.
When are you guys getting married? Have you planned that yet or
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. The wedding is in November, and then I'm gonna piss off all the anti-groomer people, but we're going to Disney World right after. So.
If you like it, you like it. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, well, we're getting married in Sarasota, and then we're gonna go to Orlando, which is about a 2-hour drive. But she's never been to Disney World, and she really likes Stitch. So yeah.
Yeah, I think my sister went to Disney World for her thing. That was years ago, but yeah, what are you gonna do? I have one cousin, she just moved to Florida. Like literally she went to Disney World every year. Like it was her thing. And now like they live right there too. So I'm like, you know what? If you like it, you like it. I'm not gonna judge. It sounds like hell to me, but it's
Oh
fine.
my God, really? No, I was like this close to moving to Florida. I actually had a job interview there about let's say 2 months ago, and the shop was beautiful. The area
Oh
was
no, yeah,
beautiful.
Florida doesn't sound like hell. Disney going
Okay.
to Disney. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
understandable.
It's not my thing.
Mm.
So you did, but you didn't take a job down there.
No, no. The way I kind of break this down is that I would have paid almost 2 times to 3 times the amount in a mortgage and double the interest rate for a third of the house that I have now. So while I would love to move to Florida, it just wouldn't make sense to do it right now.
Yeah. And I mean, it is right now, it's a seller's market there because everybody's been moving there. And like things finally slowed down here for the first time in fucking like 10 years. But then I'm like, it's still like, I know people leaving here to go to Florida too. So it's even more competitive there to buy. And this is what I hate with my real estate clients over the last, like, since I've been licensed, is I just know because of how fake money is and everything, it just breaks my heart. And then they're all paying their actual cash over appraisal. It's like, oh, it's been pissing me off. And now we're actually having like people are actually making deals now. It's like, whoa, like that's nuts to me. So we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? It's like everyone like predicts stuff, but then all it matters is what the government's doing with their printing and how much money's worth, So
Yeah, and see that's the kind of fucked up part when it comes to buying a house is that like that collapse could be right around the corner. And let's say you sell and then you go to buy and you're just done. So but you'll never know. You'll never know when it's going to happen. So we made the decision. I've lived in this house now. I bought this house when I was 22, which seems like forever ago, but that was almost 6 years ago now that I bought this house. We're just going to hang out here. The bills are very manageable for me, and yeah,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a roof over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It works, Yeah, that was funny. Just out here, even too, everyone's like, oh man, I can sell. Even the stupid houses in the suburbs could sell for so much. But yeah, it was like, well, where do you go then? You either have to go somewhere cheaper or like, and you can't even downsize because they're competing with that many more people there. I mean, you may have a little more cash or whatever to buy it, but yeah, it's been so weird.
Yeah, I talked to Top Lobster, who does a lot of the art for people, and he kind of told me how it worked out for him from moving from New York to Florida. And he told me how much his house was worth up in New York. I'm like, holy fuck. It was a lot of money. And then, of course, down in Florida, the real estate was slightly cheaper. So he kind of made out. Well, for me, fucking Pennsylvanians are broke, right? I mean, we have like no teeth and the economy's absolutely shit around here. The houses aren't worth dick. So if you want to move to Florida from here, then you're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sorry. Gotta check up on the chats. Can't see an 08. Yeah, Hayden. I don't think even out here in Colorado, the 08 collapse wasn't bad, but it would just be nice if things would plateau. And like I said, this is the first time since I got my real estate license in 2015. This is the first time I opened up my emails and it's price reduction, price improve. I've never seen that in that whole time. So it's interesting. I'm like, it sucks. I mean, if you can buy with cash right now, it's actually the one time you can like get a deal. So, or like, you have some negotiating room, but it's all that. Kathy moved. My parents just bought a house in South Carolina, Kathy. But then they're like, they're ridiculous. They're real estate people, which is why I got my license too. So I'm like, we're gonna go ahead and keep that money in the family. That was like why I got it. Money print and catch up. Oh, he thinks it'll be worse than '08. Who knows? I don't know. I
Yeah,
hate, like,
I tend to agree with them, but the problem is, when does that happen? Nobody can reliably tell you when that's going to happen. When you got $30 trillion in debt, eventually a chicken's got to come home to roost. But once again, when does that happen? Nobody knows. When does inflation stop? Nobody knows. I think it's probably going to go up, but is it possible it stops? Sure. I don't fucking know.
yeah, like how quickly do they want to really get everything torn down, right? Like, it's just like how fast, because I feel like it's obviously all on purpose, but it's like it's just up to them, and then they could literally turn it off and make it things better, and then be like, oh, see, just for politics and all that. So I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is that nobody wants everything to fall apart on their watch. So it's a lot easier to tell people everything's going to be fine and I'm going to make America great again, or we're going to build back better, rather than saying, okay, well, you all have to suffer so that we can kind of rein in this inflation and rein in the debt. Nobody's going to vote for you if you tell them that their standard of living is going to have to go down dramatically for a period of time, so that way we can actually be prosperous. It's much easier to just say, hey, you're good.
Which we all really probably should be less living in less luxury, right? And less convenience.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, a lot of people are trying to like start that now, at least get out in land where life is a little harder, although it's so hard to afford land anyways. But like that's the first part. You're gonna be like triple house poor when you buy something. What did I say? He works at a grill manufacturer, so he has charcoal sales index. Once we stop selling charcoal as much, then I'll start worrying. Okay. Is that like an extra? That's like an extra, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What else is going on? What else is going on in this crazy world? Kyle, do you like make any money off of giving health tips or anything like that? Like, are you a life coach?
No, God, life coach is such a fucking grift. No, in all, I wish I could just do the podcast, play music, and maybe do some health stuff on the side. I am a certified personal trainer, but I really don't do anything like that. If people ever ask me for like training tips, nutrition tips, or anything like that, I'm always free and available, and I always try to give people the best advice that I possibly can. I've done probably half a dozen podcasts on just reading different research papers and different topics around nutrition and training. But no, I kind of wish I did, but it just kind of is what it is. I've made $3 off my podcast so far, and that was from somebody buying Element, which is the electrolyte company that I'm partnered with.
Oh, nice. Do you have much of a training business going, or not really, because you're busy doing your other job?
No. Like I said, if people ever ask for anything, then I'm always available to help. I kind of thought about trying to dip my toe in there, but to give an idea of my schedule, so I'm up at 4:30 every single morning. I usually take a shower, and then I get up, I cook food, and then I take my dogs for a walk. And then by about 6:15, I'm leaving to go to work, and then I work from about 7 o'clock.
Oh, you there, Kyle? Great. He just got booted too. Are we there? Are we here? Is it my internet?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, and
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you. He froze up.
Kyle, the Feds got him.
Feds got him. Give it a second here. Treasury's still on goods. Hayden on the crypto. Folks, so many print shops have closed. Oh yeah, all the like little print shops have totally closed. Oh yeah, the inflation bill. So the people who have caused inflation have created this bill to fix inflation, and it's just amazing because you could just spend a bunch of money on a solar system, and then you get a credit for it. Like, hello, that's so good for the earth and stuff. Bye, Kathy. Yeah, that bill has all sorts of bullshit in it.
And then get off by some nerd that the IRS just hired.
I know. Did you see that meme where it's like the guy's trading in the wheelchair, and then it has a picture of girls in like a little lemonade stand?
Yeah.
I was like, that's so perfect. I love the internet. Yeah, that's what they said. This inflation bill is going to be so good for the climate. And it's like, well, what the fuck do those even have to do with each other? Like, oh, people are so stupid. The whole climate and greenwashing and all this. For all the people who are like, hate capitalism and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you fools are being fooled. Like, all this, like, Beyond Meat, all this shit. It's all to make money. It's all to make money, to put in all this green infrastructure, more solar panels, more windmills, everything. Like, it's all to make money, is what it is. And it's all money, especially when it's like government friends who have these businesses and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all to make money. But these people are too stupid. Like, they just built in my grocery store over here, they just put a electric car charging station that has, I don't know, they had to take up part of the parking lot. There's probably like 6 chargers years back. And I'm like, all that charging, they had to bring in all these diesel regular trucks, all this equipment, all this to build these electric charging stations that are going to be fueled by coal. Like, it's just so stupid. All right, sorry, you can keep going, Kyle. Oh, no, he's back. I don't know what happened.
That's back in, and then you nuke me.
You're saying your schedule. You say you work 7 to.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened there. My internet shut down for a minute, but yeah. So I work from 7 to 3:30 or to maybe 4:30 at the very latest. Then I go to the gym and then I get home usually around like 5:30 to 6. I make dinner and then I'm usually in bed around like 8 to 9 o'clock. And if I have a podcast, I do a podcast at night. So just fitting in training and stuff like that for other people would be such a pain in the ass for me. But yeah, if I could quit working on cars and just do like podcasting, musician stuff, and personal training, I would be in like heaven. I would be the happiest man on the face of the planet.
Yeah, the like personal training is a lot like real estate too. You have to build up the clientele, and people have to choose to go with you and like you, So it takes time and money for marketing, and marketing's a bitch because it just takes so much. But
yeah, I make actually decent money as a mechanic, so it would be hard for me to just say, all right.
You don't have to. It says you work for a particular dealer. You don't have to.
Yeah, I work for a Buick GMC Cadillac.
Oh,
yeah. So all the fancy Escalades you see driving around, you pretty much name the vehicle. I've taken the Cadillac apart, top to bottom. Buick GMC, same deal. I've worked for GM, so like Chevrolet. I worked for Chevy dealers for about 3 years total, and then I've worked for Buick GMC Cadillac for about another 7 years. So yeah.
Is there still the chip thing going on? The chip shortage?
I can't say for certain, but I know, and this is absolutely hysterical to me. Imagine you buy a $80,000 Yukon, right? And it's supposed to have cooled and heated seats. They send those out with the buttons, but they don't have the heated or cooled seats because they don't have chips for it. Imagine hitting that button. It's fucking 90 degrees outside, and all you want is that fan to pull air off your ass. Nope. It'll turn on, but it won't do anything.
Although half the time, I think a lot of the like bells and whistles, it's all planned obsolescence and they break anyways, and then you got to take it in and get it fixed for fucking $2,000.
They're 5-year throwaways. $2,000 does not get you far in dealerships anymore, unfortunately. No. Not at all.
That's like I used to have a 04 Grand Cherokee, and I'm like, I kicked myself for getting rid of it because it was like, stuff wasn't as electronic on it, and like you could wrench on it all you wanted and kept it going, even though like it would shake me off the road sometimes.
The death wobbles they used to call it. So what actually used to happen with those, if you picture a front axle, right? So you have your differential right in the center, and then there's 2 tubes that go out, and then you have your wheels out here. There were trailing arms that went from the frame. They bolted to the frame of the vehicle, and then they went down, and they bolted that front axle. Those bushings on those trailing arms would actually go bad. So whenever you hit a bump, because it can't stabilize, you would get the, right off the fucking
just start
road.
hitting you. It got to the point where Mr. Forrest, we rebuilt the whole front end. Eventually put all the special bars and stuff on it. But it got to the point where I like couldn't hit I had to like barely tap the brakes because it would just start going. And I was like,
some of the juice are fucking sketchy. Yeah. Well, it's funny. In case anybody's wondering, I drove a 2008 Cobalt with a manual transmission and roll up windows.
Nice. That's what most mechanics have, like the old cars that they've been kept going, and like because that's what you do.
Yeah, so everybody down there has crank windows too. Nice.
Have you noticed since you've been a mechanic just how much more stuff became more electronic and harder and more expensive to work on? And did they like basically make some stuff just harder to get to, just so like you can charge more money to get to it, kind of? Do you know what I mean?
Yes and no. Now, I've even seen a lot of stuff kind of change in the last 10 years. So, like, I remember most vehicles had what was called fuel injection, which is basically just an injector goes into or not into the cylinder head, but right into the intake. And then it would just spray right at the intake valve of the engine. And then when the intake valve opens, it pulls the air and fuel in. And I'm not going to go into the entire physiology of an engine. But now they changed it. So there's what's called direct injection. So instead of spraying gasoline on the intake valve, they actually go right into the cylinder head. And then on the compression stroke, which when it compresses the air and fuel mixture, it shoots all the fuel in rather than at the intake stroke. So that's a completely different technology. And because of emission standards, what they've actually done is change the type of refrigerant. So the shit that keeps you cool in the wintertime, they changed it to, it used to be R134A, which had a global warming potential rating of, I think it was over like, or I think it was 1,000. And then the old shit, like back in the 90s and the 80s and before then, it was R12 that had a global warming potential rating of like 20,000. 1234YF, which is the newest form of refrigerant, only has a global warming potential rating of like 5. But the shit's so fucking expensive, and it is a motherfucker to work on. So the machine that we have to use, it's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, basically, in a long-winded answer, most of the vehicles, yeah, if you're putting a bulb in, you're taking the front bumper off. If you want to do a tune-up, you're taking the intake off. If you want to evac and recharge anything, which is basically just evacuating and recharging the air conditioning system, you're looking at like 2 hours. So yeah, basically the labor times to do anything is just way up.
Me.
What?
Sorry, I just logged into my other email address to see why my main account got banned. And they say your account has been suspended and will not be restored because it was found to be violating the Twitter terms of service, specifically the Twitter rules against managing multiple Twitter accounts for abusive purposes, which means that faggot that I was arguing with reported me.
Oh man.
I bet so. I bet so.
I did see a comment. What did someone say? They asked about inventory. Yeah, inventory really fucking sucks for us, and it is a little bit of a pain in the ass to get vehicles in, but they're pretty much going as fast as they're coming.
Yeah, it was weird for a while. That car stuff was going crazy. Like, luckily, when I got in my accident last summer, it was worth more than we bought it for. So it was nice.
I like it.
What are you gonna do? All right, we're about an hour. Anything else you guys want to chat about? I know we're all pissed. Me and Hex are all like pissed off.
Oh no, it makes me sad because I like you guys a lot. And yeah, whiteness is a cancer we need to stomp out, and he's a fucking white guy. Well, you know, he can always solve the problem one person at a time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's a Hoppus thing? Reduce the problem by one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, I like that answer a lot because a lot of people say you shouldn't have children because you're contributing to pollution. Okay, well, if you really believe that, then no one has told you you can't off yourself. I'll have kids. You can kill yourself. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, like it's mean to say, but like if you're that fucking worried about where you're telling someone else what to do, then just
lead by example, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a formative contradiction. You know, it's okay if you don't like kids. I don't care. I want to have babies, but if you don't have babies, I don't care. Just don't tell other people they can't have babies because then we have a fucking problem.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I'm like, my whole like, I just never wanted babies, but I've never told other people they shouldn't have babies. Like, how do you even say that? Like, it's just so rude because, like, every day, even though I never wanted kids, I can still understand the biological drive to fucking have a kid, right? Like, to tell people not to do it, especially for like all this bullshit climate shit, which is not real, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's funny because people might think that you and I, the way we talk about things on Twitter, we would be diametrically opposed and we wouldn't like each other. But, you know, I get that, you know, so I brand myself as a socially conservative person and you're pretty live and let live, as am I. But, you know, it's like, I don't care what you do. If you're on Twitter showing your tits and ass, I don't care.
Yeah, and I appreciate that about people like you where like, I know you're not down with it necessarily, but it's like, you don't care.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, who the fuck would I be to
follow that stuff?
Yeah, who the fuck would I be to tell you, oh, you shouldn't do that? Like, who gives a fuck? like I could tell you what's probably better for attracting a man who's going to stay with you long term. But then again, it's
Hey, I'm at 13 years now, so it's a
there you
long ass
go.
fucking time, man.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm anti legal marriage, so I'm the beneficiary. So I literally have to stay till the very end if I want anything. So
you do have you're married?
we're not like legally married, but we've been together for fucking 13 years.
Holy
We're
fuck,
just
how
very
many-
non-traditional.
Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm taken care of. I mean, there would be no
Yeah.
Forest Mommy if it was not for him. So
Yeah. See, and you rail on trads reasonably so, and I actually I agree with a lot of your criticisms about trads because a lot of these men are getting led to the slaughter. And the podcast I recorded earlier today, I did record a little section on how I changed my mind about Jordan Peterson. And the problem with someone like him and Matt Walsh and all of these like die in the wool social conservative guys, they all tell men they just need to be better men, and then society will just magically fall into place. But the problem is, you're not telling them the other side of the game, right? You're not telling them that women can and will rake you over the coals if shit really pops off. You're just telling them, well, you need to take more responsibility. Okay, well, what's in that more responsibility? What's the incentive for men to take more responsibility? Because right now, as it stands, it's 100% responsibility with 0% authority. So, and what is that? That's essentially slavery. So stop telling men they need to just shut up and take more responsibility because there's no upside for them. Now, if you can give me an incentive and a reason why they should, and make it so the legal system is completely stacked against them, then okay, then we have a conversation. But just telling men to shut up and do your woman's bidding, it does nobody any favors.
Right.
well, I only don't like the trads that I know have messy lives of their own, but are telling other people what to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I'm pretty like, I'm like, hey, if you want to have kids, yeah, don't be a slut young, get together young, have them young. Like, I'm definitely trad in that sense. I just didn't do it, And then I'm like, yeah, get together young, don't slut out, and then you guys can be swingers later on if you want. And then it's together, and you're, like that's like opposite trad.
Well, exactly what you're saying. I don't care if people do that. Just leave the fucking kids out of it. If you have kids, okay, well then you have to focus on kids because they don't have a choice, right? And they don't choose their parents, and they don't choose the situation they're born in. So it is your obligation, I honestly feel at that point, to provide them the best life that you possibly can. And divorce shouldn't be something that you pursue half-heartedly, because once again, you're going to greatly reduce that child's standard of living who did not choose that. They have no choice in that matter.
Well, the kid will be fine. Everyone's always like, the kids are fine. It's like, literally everyone I grew up with will tell you they were not fine when they went through that. Like, yeah, It was maybe physically fine or whatever. Like, it's traumatic. Like, there's just two parents is best. Sorry, cancel me for that, but like, that's just best.
Yeah. Right.
It works out sometimes, but
I'm a dude who my parents split when I was 5 years old. But you can't let that define you. But at the same time, when you're a kid, once again, you don't have the option. That's completely out of your decision. So when parents just, we just can't get along. Okay. Oh, we co-parent great. We get along great. Well, why can't you get along great and stay together? Like, is there really that much of irreconcilable differences?
Because I remember listening to this one thing, and he was like, because back in the day, your mother, father, worker, bred, it was very role. We didn't have all our frou-frou life that we have now, our luxurious too good of lives, where people are like, well, I'm unhappy with him, and I can't just like, even though like it's I understand if you're like arguing like crazy in front, but there's like some things where it's like, okay, this is actually a partnership as well. That's why you sign this legal contract that entitles you to things that maybe you didn't earn because you are in this partnership, where it's not always going to be romantic and lovely. It's like, that's the whole point. I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, I can't stand how people think it's once again, if men would just sack up and shut up and do what they're told. Hayden right there kind of shared a good point and said hypergamy is two-sided. JBP ignores one of them. He has a lot of good ideas, but he's just trying to make better betas. Yes, that's spot on. I think he probably listens to Rollo Tomasi a lot, just like I do. But yeah, basically you're just setting out more bitch-ass men in the world who are going to, basically make their half-assed man idea become a reality, right? If I'm just a good guy long enough, then eventually the right woman will find me. And then what happens when a woman gets ran through her 20s and then she pairs up with some shitty dude who knocks her up and then she's single mom, then all of a sudden, conveniently at 30 years old, she's now this right-wing Christian woman who's ready to settle down. And guess what? Now that sucker, he was a good guy long enough to finally score the woman, but then he'll never put all the pieces together and say, holy fuck, I was the dumbass who waited around, rather than just saying, I'm going to make myself the best person possible and I'm going to have standards for myself, rather than just saying I'm going to wait for the first dumb broad who's going to settle for me. That's not the way you should look at it, right? I tell people all the time, I'm the prize, and I say it half-heartedly, but my fiance is a phenomenal woman, and I'm a good person, right? I've worked my ass off to get to where I am today, so we're very, very grateful to have each other, and we work very, very hard to live the life that we live. So, and it wasn't that I was just, suddenly she's 35 and ready to settle down. I love it. That's exactly what it is, though. And that's why I'm so against these women who just randomly become conservative when they hit, their late 20s, early 30s. Oh, I've changed. You got to question the legitimacy of that, because it was fine to sleep around in your early 20s, but then all of a sudden when nobody wants to sleep around anymore, then now, nobody's ugly after 2 a.m. You can find somebody to go home with and take care of you.
And I won't judge that as too much, just because I went off on my own to be a strong, independent woman. And I wasn't a slut. I had a boyfriend. I've had 2 boyfriends. And like, I remember at 25 though, and I was like, I used to, like, my sisters were dependent and stuff. And I was like, and then the minute the opportunity came into my life, it's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I will take care of the house. I will do all that. Like, it's all good. But there was no kids, and that's just, it's different.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not saying anything like there's anything inherently wrong with these people.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just that most men are too fucking stupid for their own good. And that's, once again, to go back to the problem with Jordan Peterson, is that you're telling these men that when a woman's finally all of a sudden socially conservative at 29 years old, that now she's ready to settle down and that you're the good guy, right? You're the dad who stepped up, not you're the beta in waiting, essentially. So yeah, pretty much any woman who says, I've had my fun, now I'm ready to settle down, run. And the other line that I always use, and I say it all the time on Twitter, any woman that has any portion of her head shaved, do not trust that bitch. It's a fact. It's a fact. Check me. Check the receipts.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. If they're lesbians, it's cool though. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Carpet munchers. That's perfectly fine. You're not trying to fuck them anyways. Yeah.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, anything else? You got anything, Hex?
Well, I'm kind of pissed at the reasoning they gave me for my main account, because the motherfucker literally stalked me to my other account.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's in trouble for managing multiple accounts for abusive purposes. Are you serious?
Well, and the ban evasion on your main account after they just gave it back to you. You weren't banned. So I wonder if that motherfucker reported me. Anyway.
Yeah, apparently they had a real stiffy for you, Hex, and I'm sorry. Like
he did, because he would not let it go. It was like, dude,
really
cannot stop thinking about sucking your dick, Hex. Like, he
might be secretly gay and in denial.
Yeah, I would. Whatever was going on was not normal, because he was projecting some weird shit. All right, Kyle, do you want to plug any of your stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Right now my YouTube has a strike, but if people are on YouTube, as it seems like most people are, feel free to look me up, subscribe. That's Kyle Matovcik, Matovcik. My podcast is called In Liberty and Health. Check out my band as well. It's called A Common Crown. We're like an alternative metal band with a female front woman who is like the most amazing singer in the world. And I put out podcast episodes usually anywhere from like 2 to 3 days a week. And my Twitter handle is just my name spelled down there below. And thanks for having me on, guys. And my Twitter timeline will be now permanently darkened until you guys decide to make a return in one way or another.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Hex, where can everyone find you now that you're not on Twitter?
I've been saying Hexcelerate everywhere. And Instagram is probably going to be where I hang out now.
Yeah, I just changed my Instagram name. So everyone who's following, if they're on Instagram, what did I change it to?
Oh, you have the Discord now.
Oh yeah, I do have a Discord too. That's true. I should post that link somewhere I'll post that link somewhere on YouTube. On Instagram, I am Forest Mommy CO. So follow me there because I'll be there since I'm not on Twitter for a minute. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to join the Discord, and then I it seems like most fitness people are on Instagram, and I have not made an Instagram yet, but I may begrudgingly have to.
yeah, well, you don't. Yeah, I mean, I just started using. I hated it during COVID because it like I would say my shit on there because I wasn't on Facebook, and I lost so many friends. But now it's all like Twitter people on there, so it's fine. So
yeah,
like it.
Try not to get involved in politics. Well, just don't get involved in politics on Instagram because they're worse about policing that stuff than Twitter. Arguably.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good week.